Welcome to episode 227 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast. So, a couple things. Tonight's episode says with Dr. Rob Koch, which it will be intermittently.
Life happens, guys, and it always seems to happen to us and our listeners and our guests.
Well, we talked ahead of time. He is currently, I think, working at a clinic right now. We talked to him before. He was on episode 189, I believe. If y'all don't know, he's the vet at San Antonio Zoo, but he also is working. He picked up some shifts at a clinic tonight, so he's gonna hop on and talk to us between crazy emergency things.
Life is interesting for that man. I love it.
And then Robert had some internet issues, but hopefully that will be fixed by next week, and he'll be back next week. But it's me and Katie.
Whoop whoop. My brain is definitely in open house mode because it's tomorrow and I have 40 million things I need to do.
Yeah, I apologize.
So I'm so sorry if I seem scatterbrained tonight or if I seem like I'm not all together, because I do not have it together. Yeah. I am not ready and I have less than 24 hours to get ready. Yep. It'll happen because it's year 13. So it'll happen.
We go back. Well, we went back to work last Thursday.
I'm exhausted.
But that was without kids.
Absolutely exhausted.
Kids come back on Monday.
I'm not excited about next week.
I have no idea what I'm teaching yet.
I got that part down.
No, I don't have it down.
I am not physically ready. I've slept way too much this summer and I'm not physically ready to keep up with children.
So if we seem frazzled for the next few episodes,
we apologize.
We're just trying to get into the swing of school.
Somebody asked me today what we're doing for our anniversary next week, and I was like,
fuck, it's next week.
I was like, I just want to sleep.
Our anniversary is next week. It is in 8 days.
Which means it's almost.
Oh, it's almost Daytona.
It's almost Daytona time.
We went to the Daytona Reptile Expo for our honeymoon.
We did.
So that's how I know it's coming up. Let's go ahead and knock out sponsor stuff real quick. Can we do that, Joe?
Did you just call me Joe?
I was about to. Our daughter made food, so I was just.
It was her night to cook dinner. I think it was her night last podcast night was her night too. I kind of like that.
I made dinner last night.
You did, and it was great.
I made Spam. And for anybody out there saying Spam's gross, you're wrong. If you fry it right, and you get the bacon,
cook it right.
Get the bacon flavored Spam.
Gotta be,
and you gotta fry it and put it on a sandwich. Although I did make
mustard and cheese, man.
My daughter likes what we call Spam fries, and you cut them into thin strips and fry them. They look like French fries. She ate those.
Look, any night that I'm not cooking dinner and the two of you are making my plate and bringing it to me is a beautiful thing. And the best part is you both do the dishes after you're done cooking dinner. And it's fantastic. It's a minimum of 2, maximum of 4 nights a week that I don't have to worry about it.
So again, if you haven't tried fried Spam and you're just like, oh, Spam's gross. It's not. Also, I've looked at the ingredients of Spam. It is not like assholes and
no,
it's like
as
actual,
bad as people make it out.
No, it's like actual meat. Like it's the actual meat, not the leftover
I'm telling
bits.
You, it takes me back to my childhood, man.
I love fried Spam. On a fried Spam sandwich on toast with mustard and cheese. Oh, it's so good.
Good stuff.
Anyway, let's get to our sponsors.
Well, we have Lil's Shop of Horrors, which operates a commercial feeder breeder facility based out of San Antonio, Texas. They specialize in rats, mice, dubia roaches, Madagascar hissing cockroaches, and more. As feeder breeders, they focus on the nutritional needs of the animals that consume them. They provide feeders for everyone from first-time keepers with 1 snake to large-scale breeding operations with many animals, as well as supplying to a few pet shops. So no order is too large or too small. Be sure to check out their website, lilsshopofhorrors.com, or you can send a text or give them a call. Their number is available on their website or any of their social media pages.
Okay, I want to do the rest of our sponsors in a second, but I want to go ahead. Our guest is currently-ish here, so I'm going to bring our guest in now.
We don't know when he might have to step out again.
So,
hey, Rob.
Our guest tonight is Dr. Rob Koch from San Antonio. How's it going? Oh, no. I can't hear him. I promise I have it turned up on my end.
Double check. Make sure nothing's muted.
It's not. It's me. It's not me this time. It's him.
It's
somewhere on his end. His microphone is muted. I hope. Yeah.
While he's working on that, Canal Side Exotics asked if we had maple spam.
He's muted on his thing. Let me see if I can unmute him. They won't let me unmute him.
They chose to mute themselves.
That's right. No, still can't hear him. It's got to be the computer. The computer. Make sure that it's. I guess using the right mic. Make sure your mic on the computer is on.
So we actually saw a commercial for maple spam the other day, and we were like, "Ooh, that would be good for breakfast." But we haven't.
So yes,
actually tried it yet.
The anal side exotics. We are going to try.
But we are,
spam.
yeah.
That is on our list.
Look, it's really hard to get our 13-year-old to eat protein.
She likes
and
spam.
When she was like, "Hey, can Daddy cook spam tonight?" I was like, "Call him right now." He said as soon as he saw her number pop up on his phone, he thought, "I'm cooking dinner tonight." That's what this call is for.
Here, while Rob's getting that working, let me run through Herp's reptile shows coming up. The next one coming up is down in Corpus Christi, Texas, August 10th and August 11th. So you can make it down that way. Then over to Bryan College Station, Texas, August 17th and 18th. Then way over to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, August 24th and 25th. The Big Conroe show is September 14th and September 15th. And then Belton, Texas, which we talked is over near Waco, is October 5th, October 6th. Rosenberg, Texas, was just south of Houston. That's our home show. We'll be there with the table doing interviews. November 2nd, November 3rd. Sulphur, Louisiana, November 9th, November 10th. And then West Monroe, Louisiana, November 16th, November 17th. So
busy schedule coming up.
Make it out to a Herb's Reptile show if you can. If you can't, you still should do it. Drive on down here and come to one. I keep double checking, make sure that I've got his volume turned up here because I've done that before. I forgot, but I promise it's turned up on my board. It's not me this time. Timothy said he hasn't had a spam in years, but he loves it fried as well.
So my dad, it's funny because he says he can't do Vienna sausage. So my dad, it was Vienna sausages
crackers.
On crackers.
Yeah, crackers.
And then when he would take us to the hunting camp growing up, and he would also buy the peanut butter and jelly already swirled together in a jar.
Goober.
It was the only time we were allowed to buy it already swirled together was when we were going camping. And so now I didn't do the Vienna sausages, but I'll eat the fried spam. But that that takes me back to my childhood hardcore.
I'll do Vienna. I'm not gonna lie. Vienna sausages don't taste great, but I will eat them.
No, I can't.
But they definitely taste the way you would think potted meat would taste. Like it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, spam may not be buttholes and all the other parts, but Vienna sausages may be. It may be the leftover parts. I don't know what. It's got to be. Sorry,
it's not at all.
Technical issues while we're live, everybody. It's we're on brand for that.
We all know it's coming. That's not what I want.
Double checking, make sure I got everything. I didn't change anything.
It's probably James. I did do that right.
I mean, it's definitely possible, but I don't think I did it. Probable.
What'd you do wrong?
I didn't do
it. There he is. It was a James.
It wasn't me.
Oh, we lost him.
What is going on here?
I thought maybe because it was like right when you unplugged and replugged.
I didn't unplug anything. I wiggled stuff.
I was just kidding. Then
I can hit it. See if that does it.
No, that costs a lot of money. Don't hit it.
Costs a lot of money. I'm not gonna hit this thing. I can't figure out the issue. I don't think it's on my. It can't be on our end. I didn't do anything.
Our listeners, you're wonderful.
Darren, sardines are gross. There's no way I'm eating the sardine. I'm not eating. I'm not doing that. Sardines look gross. They smell gross.
I've eaten them cooked in other things and not known that they were there until after the fact.
They got like bones in them and stuff. I'm not doing that.
Oh, sorry about that. The barbecue or a flavored one? Barbecue, like barbecued spam or barbecued Vienna sausages or barbecue sardine. Like what? I'm so confused. I don't know what the flavors are.
The flavor.
I will clean this tank later because I totally just sneezed all over the glass of your blue.
Oh my God, that is gross.
I'm really sorry.
Well, we can have nice things here. Sneeze all over my camera.
So how about the Olympics?
No, don't talk Olympics. I got tonight to watch, and if somebody's already watched today's stuff, they're gonna ruin it for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we do have people in the chat. So
and if they ruin it for me, I'll hunt them down.
Yeah, it is. It's a pretty intense thing at our house, guys, with the Olympics. Although I can talk about something that happened the other night. I don't know. I'm just trying to fill space.
Fill space. So I'm trying to see if there's anything on my end that I.
Maybe if we take him out and bring him back in.
No, I don't. Maybe I don't know, but I don't think that's the issue.
Can you hear us, Dr. Rob? Okay,
he can
we got
hear
a
us.
thumbs up, so he can hear us.
But this will be a very weird conversation if he jumps up talking. Everyone watching.
So, I know what I can talk about. I can talk about Zoology Club because school's about to start again, which means Zoology Club is about to start again. So I have already booked an outing through the Learning Zoo in Conroe, Texas. And I'm going to give our families an opportunity to go and enjoy the evening. We did. We went to the Learning Zoo this past weekend. We went on Saturday evening. It was an evening event they were doing, which was really nice because the weather was way more enjoyable than it has been during the day here. No, that was me talking.
Yeah, but it was weird because it like echoed through and it didn't echo through me, so I don't know where it came through.
I don't know.
It's like it echoed out of
that may have been what we heard a minute ago.
You gonna log out and log. It's weird. It's
now there's an echo. Yeah, I don't know if our listeners can hear an echo.
Okay, he'll come back.
So we went to the Learning Zoo. Robert went with us, so it was the three of us and Josephine, because kids tag along for everything.
The Learning Zoo is in Conroe, Texas, just north of Houston. It's our buddies Drew and Becca own that. We've talked about them before. We got to post the pictures. We'll post the pictures after this that we took.
Yes,
I've got some on my phone, some on your phone. But it was a blast. It was a luau event for families, and they've got some really cool stuff there. Their zebu does not like me, and that was kind of heartbreaking because I was really.
You were so sad, and Darren said he could hear the feedback. So, whatever you did, don't touch it again.
It wasn't me.
I think it was.
It's not me. I didn't do anything, so it couldn't have been me.
Okay.
They didn't change anything.
Okay.
It had to be on his end.
So we went to the Learning Zoo. The zebu did not like James. I went into their aviary that they have with all the parakeets. Had minor heart palpitations, so then I left.
Katie has a bird fear.
I don't like birds. And they were way too comfortable with people.
I was surprised. I went in there because I'm not a huge parakeet fan. One of the few birds I've been bit by was a parakeet, and it hurts like crazy.
Joe did fine for a few minutes. Our friend Megan was like obsessed with them. It was hilarious to watch that.
2 sticks, and they were laying on both my hands, and I had at one point 6 parakeets on me.
And I got some great pictures of our child though. She was making funny faces because. I mean, that's what you do when you're in an aviary.
Can you hear? Well, I guess can we hear you?
He can hear us.
Can hear us, but can't hear him. What is
bungees? Are they budgies or bungees?
Budgies.
Budgies. The little bird.
Bungees of the
that
cord.
may actually be what he has.
It's the same thing.
They're parakeets, the same.
Parakeets.
Budgies are the same.
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding.
Same thing. So yes, it is what he has. I cannot figure why.
Do we need to turn things off and turn it back on again?
No, because everybody can hear us. Budgies, see? Budgies. Let's see. If I go to YouTube, I'll pull up one of our videos and hit play and make sure that I can hear sound through this thing. Possibly, maybe. Here we go.
I was going to say, is your volume on your computer on?
Yes. Oh.
I swear on all that is holy, if that ended up being the issue, Lewis.
Yes, no, it's not that. It's not.
My God.
It's not that. Hold on, I'm gonna play an old episode. See?
Yep, we can hear the old. That
was when we had Ryan and Erica on. So yes, there's volume coming through there. You had me scared because I've done that before. I completely forgot that I've done that before. So that was.
Well, and I didn't know if you used that computer in a workshop today or recently, and because I always mute my computer before a workshop starts because I hate when my computer just randomly starts making noise.
Yeah, but I don't use this computer. This is the house computer.
Oh, okay. You have 2 different ones.
I have a work computer.
That's okay. Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
So we finished our sponsors.
Anyways, so Drew and Becca's, they had that. They had he did some education shows. He has a Indigo, Indigo. So that's always cool.
Let's talk about his education shows for a second.
Okay.
Because I haven't had an opportunity to talk to him about this. And so knowing that he will at some point listen to this podcast, I feel like I can go ahead and put this out there. I did education programs for many years at the zoo. It was one of my main responsibilities. I cannot tell you how many times I have sat through education programs at zoos, aquariums, other facilities. It is a very rare occasion for me to sit in a program and go, this person is an excellent speaker. I can almost always find something that should be adjusted or should be changed. He was amazing. Like, I've never had the opportunity to sit through any of his programs because at the Conroe show, I'm always busy at the front. So I always miss his education programs.
Yeah.
So this was the first time I've ever gotten to sit through one. He was informative.
By he, you mean Drew?
By Drew. Yes, I'm talking about Drew. He was informative. He was clear and precise. He made the corny jokes that kept people laughing.
Only suggestion? Ask a few more questions.
I mean, yeah.
Like leading questions so you get involvement of the kids. So they don't doze off a little bit. But no, he was very good.
But it's been a really long time since I've sat through a program that I enjoyed. And I thoroughly enjoyed his programs the other night. And I did not get a chance to tell him that. So.
Anyways, also, so on sponsor stuff, I forgot to throw out, we had Cold Blooded Caffeine on last week. And if you haven't seen it on our Facebook page, or I think I may have put it, I can't remember if I put it in the group, but we do have a discount code. You can save 10% on your order on Cold Blooded Caffeine by using the discount code Reptile Gumbo. All one word, Reptile Gumbo, one word. Also, if you use the link that is posted on our Facebook page, it helps us. We get some money too. So please go use that link. Don't just go straight to the website. Go use the link on our Facebook page, on the Reptile Gumbo podcast Facebook page. Click that and then go use the code Reptile Gumbo, all one word, and save 10%. And then 5% of all proceeds go to help rainforest conservation. So you get coffee or tea. You get to do some conservation work. We get a little bit of money to help the podcast. I didn't F up anything, Chris. I'm telling you, it's not me. It's Dr. Rob. It's not me. He did it. But go check out Cold Blood Caffeine. They have, so go to coldbloodcaffeine.com and then you can check out, they have tons of different types of coffee. I don't know what type of, if you read through it, there's a bunch of them. Oh, I thought we could hear them. I heard noise. I don't know what happened.
I have.
How can I hear you?
But there's a weird feedback.
That is odd. But then when he talks, we don't hear anything. I don't know.
I don't have the brain capacity to attempt to figure it out tonight because it's been a really long day of workshops.
27 episodes and I can't figure out technology yet. But it's weird. It's like it does go through because I can hear. Just charades the entire.
Oh my Lord!
Entire time.
Words, first word.
That would be the weirdest interview ever. Just everybody's listening later on the podcast, just to the audio part. We're playing charades and they have no idea. We have to say everything he says, and then we get it wrong. It's the worst game of telephone ever.
Oh my stars! This is not okay.
I don't. I looked. I promise. It's not. It's not.
Do we just want to close everything down and start it back up?
No, because it's not. It's not on this end. I don't think.
But it doesn't matter if you think that or not. We could still try and see if it works.
But there's. I mean, we can. I don't
think our listeners care. If they've stuck around through this many episodes, they know that we have issues. It's just part of us at this point.
Hold on. We're going to back out. We'll be right back in. Everybody else just hang out in the chat. We're going to try backing out and backing in. So we're live again. All of our guests should be able to hear us. All of our listeners, should be able to hear us. We'll wait and see if our guest comes back and see if that works.
So Timothy wants to know what type of roast.
I already answered that. I don't know.
Oh.
But they have, well, it's not that I don't know. He's got a ton of different types and different roasts. And then they've got their own private label, like their own stuff. And then they have the private label stuff like from Snake Discovery and all the other folks. We're working hopefully towards a Reptile Gumbo podcast tea because they do teas, and I don't want to do coffee. Everybody else did coffee, and I'm not a huge coffee drinker. But if I can make a good tea, especially something that will make a good sweet tea, that is what I'm going for. Chris said he has to change his mic settings in Windows. Let me message him that. Katie, you have the mic. Go.
Oh, geez. Let's see. So I was talking about Zoology Club earlier. So I emailed our entire staff today. We have like one big email that automatically sets up to go to everybody. And because we have a ton of new people on staff this year. And I was like, just a heads up, want to introduce myself. I'm the Zoology Club sponsor. I teach 4th grade. These are the animals that you could see if you swing by my classroom at some point later this week when they all start arriving. And I gave like a breakdown of all the animals that I have in my classroom and offered if anybody on staff wants to help out with Zoology Club that they could. But I am not an advocate for frightening people with animals that they may or may not have a fear of. And so it's very important to me that people know what's in my room. They know what's visible from the window because I'm changing it up. My guinea pig's been in front of the window for a year, and I'm putting my bearded dragon in front of the window this year because he's much larger now than when he first came into my classroom. He's much more active than he was when he was a baby. And I think overall, he'll be a really good animal to have in the window. Now, if it starts to stress him out because too many people are going by his cage, then I'll move him and I'll put the box turtle there. But yeah, I no one has responded, but I did not. It was a concern of mine because I had a substitute. We've talked about it on here before.
Where the kid got bit?
No. I had a sub 2 years ago, walk in the room, see everything, and turn around and walk back out.
Snakes.
And she was like, absolutely not. I cannot go in this room. There's too many animals. And so now when I have to get a sub through the district, I put in my sub plans, I am the Zoology Club sponsor. There are animals in my classroom. Like everything's in a cage. Everything is secure. Timothy says we're frozen.
We're frozen.
I don't understand.
I don't know.
We're having all kinds of issues tonight.
It's not frozen on my end. Timothy may not have good internet. Could be Timothy.
Maybe it's you.
I do want to thank, so real quick, because I never thank I pulled up our Patreon, and I wanted to thank our Patreon members. If you haven't joined our Patreon, that's fine. But if you feel like it, have at it. You can, I think I have as low as like a $3 a month one in there, like less than a cup of coffee. But I want to thank Jason Creekmore, he's in Patreon. He gets into the chat. He answers a lot of things. He's also one second, I'm just trying. Katie.
What? Oh, sorry. I don't know anything about the Patreon because I don't do anything with the Patreon.
Madison, I want to thank again, Jason, Madison, Michael Taylor, Nathaniel, who's always he's the reason we have our website because Nathaniel's awesome. Mitch McCline, and I'm gonna mess this one up. The email, I'm gonna go see Lattimore because I can't do the first name, what's on here. But thank all of y'all for joining Patreon. Katie definitely liked this month when I helped pay for all of our bills.
You paid for all of the podcast stuff this month. I was very proud of you.
Yeah. Doing good
because that's all I really care about. I'm totally fine with your hobbies as long as they pay for themselves.
Well,
like snakes are supposed to pay for themselves.
Snakes pay for themselves.
For the most part, they do.
Well,
yeah.
Ish. Baby update. The babies have not shed yet, but they're a little over a week old, so they should be shedding. So they're all gone into shed. So the baby boas should be shedding this week. It'll be very interesting to see what they look like. There's some really pretty ones in there. It's definitely no what we call super hypos. For anybody that doesn't know that out there, get a hypogene from mom and a hypogene from dad. None of the babies should be super hypos, but there are some really good, what are apparently regular hypos that look very much like super hypos. So I'm excited about how those turn out. I do want to, let's go to the question I asked on Facebook, because I asked a question today and I know I asked it late, but several of y'all got answers in there. So I appreciate it. And if you didn't get to answer that in the chat when we go over the question, feel free to put your answer in the chat. It said, what is your most recent victory or good thing that has happened in your collection or in the hobby? Obviously for me, it's 27 baby boas. I say good. I haven't tried to feed 27 baby boas yet, so we'll see how that goes. Or house all of them. We'll see how that goes too, because it's 27 mouths I got to try to feed and homes I got to find for them. How's it now, Dr. Rob? Oh, damn it. We're so close.
I understand. It's got to be a setting.
But it's not a setting on mine. You can hear.
I don't know.
I don't know. Because I can hear. See, hear that? That's noise. That's not from us. That's from his line, from his side. But it's just like small snippets of noise from somewhere.
I don't know.
It's not when he talks. So there's a microphone somewhere there picking up noise, but it's not picking up Dr. Rob.
See, and then we're getting the feedback
Because
almost like you can hear us on his end.
Yeah. It's weird. Someone there is hearing us. There's some car outside that's connected to his thing, and they're just hearing us.
They're like, who are these strange people talking about random stuff?
Yeah, because see, I can hear you. That's what it sounds like when someone doesn't have like headphones and it plays through their speaker.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why we can't hear him. I didn't do it. I swear. It's not me. I don't know. I can't fix it. I'm trying to look at all the boards, all the buttons. None of them are allowing me to do anything to fix it. Thank y'all for just listening to us ramble for a minute. See, I'm getting noise through the USB, which means it's coming from him. I can see it on the board, but I'm not getting him talking. I don't know. I got nothing, guys. We may have to have Dr. Rob come on some other time if we can't. I hate this. I was really looking forward. It's not your fault. Technology is a nightmare. You know what? There's probably like some simple thing that we're not thinking of that's just gonna hit. Yeah, he used a different computer in his last one because he was at home. He's not at home right now, so it's not. It's true. You can try logging in through your phone, see if it works through your phone. Log out, see if it'll work through your phone. We'll go that way. All right. So yeah, small victories. I want to go through some of the small victories people had. So Timothy Lesher, he posted small victories of him and for Kayla Martin, who I've reached out to, and we will probably have on in the future. Kayla Martin of Infrared Reptiles, breeding and hatching out Goniosoma. I can't pronounce that. And I probably need to actually I should know what that is because that name sounds familiar. And stop using scientific names, people. Stop it. You know there's common name stuff. But non-venomous boar snakes, Clubridae. Maybe there is. I don't. Known as the green tree snake, green mountain racer, green bush rat snake, green trinket snake. Anyway, she hatched. Oh, those are pretty. It's a green rat snake. If anybody's wondering, it's a green rat snake. But she hatched out those, and then in Timothy's collection, he's getting one of his more recent boegas to take food regularly again. So that's awesome. There's Timothy in the chat. Yeah, he said bush rat snake. So that tells me it's probably a pissy Asian rat snake, as most Asian rat snakes are. And someone out there right now is going, I've got a really calm one. Fuck you. Danielle said so we talked about the Danielle before. She got those the king snake that laid eggs.
Correct.
She didn't know it was gravid. She got it, and then it laid eggs. So laid eggs. She was 8 days past her due date, but they just laid. I think I saw a picture. Not all of them are good, but some of them are good. So, all right, we're gonna try this again. If I can find my mouse. Here we go. We're afraid to press the button. And
don't press the button; you might explode.
I hear you.
Well, at least we got it to work.
Man, all right. So it wasn't me. It was the computer. Bam. For one.
My son plugged his Oculus in here, and I think it totally messed up the sound stuff. So I'm blaming him.
Yes.
It could. Is the Oculus still in the room?
No, it's at home.
Oh, I was gonna say it could be still connected.
Kids. Ugh. Such a pain. Yeah, last night you had all the back to school stuff with your kids, didn't you?
Yep, and my daughter's got hers tomorrow. So, yep.
My daughter's got hers tomorrow.
I hate that they put our elementary and junior high on the same
Katie has
night
to work through it
because I don't ever get to go.
You say that's about it. I'm gonna have to follow her schedule with her.
I send little goodie bags for all the teachers with notes because I'm extra.
Walk around with a bunch of 8th graders.
Yeah, you have fun with that.
So, what are you doing tonight, Doc?
I kind of last minute ended up picking up a shift at a local urgent care clinic. So, I work for a nonprofit. So, you guys worked at the zoo, you know how it is.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Which is why I don't still work at a zoo.
yeah. So the sad part is you upgraded to teaching salary
I
in the
know.
state of Texas, and that's just
People are always like, you came here and made more money. I'm like, I make so much more money as a teacher than I
That's
did as
why
a
we moved.
It's not even why we moved.
I have a lot of teachers in my family, extended family and stuff, so I understand completely.
Oh, this was in our Discord earlier, and it's got me carried over here. They want to know if you still work with horned lizards.
Yep, still do.
And they want to know where you get ants to feed them. That was a whole thing in our Discord. People were trying to figure out how people got ants to feed the horned lizards.
I know there's some commercial sources, but they can't supply enough ants because we have enough mouths to feed, I guess. So I know they do some collecting. They have specific sites and some ranches that they can go out collecting.
That's crazy.
That's really cool.
Just imagine if we had to do that for like all of our reptiles. Just go out and collect rats and birds and.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of work.
That's way too much work. I'd have way less snakes, and probably not like breed any. Because could you just imagine trying to? I just had a litter of 27 boas. If I had to go out and find food for 27, those things better eat pieces of chicken or they're starving. I'm not.
Yep, you just have to grow your own.
No, that's never going to happen. That's gross. So, anything exciting happening at the clinic tonight?
That you can talk about.
It's true.
No, just random cases, vomiting, diarrhea, sick things, snuffly things.
Things
kitties
that can't wait
pee.
for the regular vet tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but not too bad.
I will say it is emergency vets are just, this is not anything against them. It's so expensive. I'm almost like, if my dog is sick, I'm like, you better just be healthy enough until make it to the morning.
Yeah, there is a premium attached to having after-hour services. So it's unfortunate, but that's what things work nowadays.
Yeah, our worst was we had a dog that swallowed a rock once and it got lodged.
Jeez, my smart, sweet dog.
we realized it when it kept throwing up every meal, and I'm like, took it to the vet. I'm like, what's wrong with it? Oh, there's a rock. And then they took the rock out and I realized it was one of my rocks, like from.
I had been away at camp.
Rock that was on a shelf.
James was dog sitting. This was when we were still dating.
It ate it off of a desk.
Yeah. And he was forever known as the dog that ate the rock at that vet office.
And if he had ever done it again, I'd have cut it out myself. We just pray for the best.
Oh my gosh.
So what are some similarities between, there's a lot of differences between like a vet at a zoo and then a vet at a clinic?
There's actually a lot in common. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what's going to show up every day. One day is different than the next, just like zoo medicine. Everything's sometimes different, even if you have everything planned out. Sometimes you just got to turn on a dime and go a different direction. So it's not too bad in that sense. Yeah, I like it because it kind of keeps my skills up too. Because I don't do surgery on animals every single day at the zoo. If I did that, I don't know if that looks bad on me or just really bad luck. So
damn, all these healthy animals.
Yeah, I know. So, but it's good. It allows me to keep my skills up and whatnot, and keeps me fresh and going.
I wanted to be a vet growing up, but then I realized I didn't like dogs and cats enough. And then like exotic vets, they're out there, but there's not. Those jobs are hard to get.
It's better. It's definitely better than what it was. I think a lot more training and a lot more knowledge is out there. So it's definitely a lot more feasible as an option.
So much school too. Once I got through my 4 years of my undergrad, I was like, you know what? I'm ready not to do school for a while. I used to love going to Mississippi State's vet school whenever they had their open house and looking at the hole in the stomach of the cow. Rather, they have a cow with a hole in the side of it, and you can put your hand in and go through all the stomachs. It's the weirdest thing to see. And I did realize as a kid that hole is the exact size of a butter dish because that's how they plugged it between.
No way.
100%.
Oh my gosh.
It was to get plugged with a butter dish between like people coming through and sticking their hand through the cow's stomach.
Oh my gosh. That is so weird.
I mean, I'm sure that's not how they plugged it when it like was doing.
God, I would hope not.
But had a hole in its stomach. It was just so weird. Oh, I'm trying to find out. There we go. I had to pull up some. Oh, Timothy wants to know, how long did you go through school and what was the process? Because I don't think a lot of people understand the process. Like, to be a vet, it's like being. I mean, you're a doctor, so I don't think people usually think of like med school and vet school, but it's the same.
Yeah, we have a little bit. We have some options as well. Classically, for after high school, you go to college. College can be, 1 year, 6 months to 8 years, depending on how you are in college, I guess.
Oh, I knew some that were there for 10 years and still didn't have a degree.
But for the most part, nowadays, most people end up getting in after 3 to 4 years of college, getting into vet school. Of course, grades are dependent upon that. The classes you're taking, plus exam scores and things along those lines. Then once you actually get into vet school, that's typically a 4-year program. There's some that are a little different. They have some, like some of the Caribbean schools have, where you go in the summer, so it's a little condensed in some ways. But for the most part, pretty much a 4-year veterinary school program. Then after that, technically you have a degree and you can go out in the world and have fun. Or if you want to be sadistic, you can go back to school and do things like research, or you can go back and do an internship in either dog or small animal medicine, exotics, large animal medicine, or some specific fields. Sometimes there's surgical internships even. And then from there, you can do residency, just like you do in human medicine, and that could be in surgery. In my case, zoo medicine. You can do dermatology, oncology, radiology, cardiology, all the fun ologies. So, it's another 2 to 3 years. So you're adding on,
So
12 years potentially of school.
And then you got to pay all that back.
Then you have to pay all that back. Yeah.
I heard at one point that like vet school is harder to get into than med school.
It can be, definitely. So, because there's only so many positions in the state of Texas. So, I'm going to have to hop off here just for a second.
Go ahead.
So, let you guys have fun. So, I'm going to mute myself. But I'll leave the camera on so that way you'll see an empty room.
That works. People enjoy the empty room. Go back through some of our. We'll get back with Dr. Rob. If you have any questions for him, throw them in the chat. Let me go through the rest of some people's victories or small victories they've had. Kristen says, hatching out. God, why do y'all put in these scientific names I don't know? That one's long too. It's got like 15 vowels in it. I'm gonna look it up. It's snake. Trinket. Oh, it's a trinket snake. Okay. It's a trinket snake. Got it.
I'm glad you know what they're talking about.
Well, because I googled it.
Oh, that's my job.
Hatching out. I'm gonna try Coelnathus. It's a trinket snake. I'm not. Y'all can look it up. Nakia said, finally finished her boa enclosure, upgraded her hoggy and her leopard geckos, and now out of quarantine and can enjoy the leopard geckos now out of quarantine and can enjoy her new bioactive home. That's cool. Our friend Megan, I talked to her about this one the other day. She says it's not really her victory, but she had some eggs that someone gave to her that this kid basically carried from Illinois to Texas. Just these random snake eggs
so crazy.
That he brought from Illinois to Texas, and they hatched. There was 5 healthy Southern black racers, and the 6th one was on its way out.
Yep.
They had no idea what they were, and she didn't know what they were when she got them. And when they hatched, she realized they were black racers.
Absolutely crazy.
I was hoping for fox snakes. Fox snakes would have been cool if you're gonna go something northern. I mean, we've got racers down, but fox snakes have been cool. I will throw out there our buddy Jason Miloradovich last night had 2 litters of Russian Samboas born, which was crazy. And I think he still may have another litter of Russian Samboas coming soon. So if anybody's looking for a Russian Samboa, you can try and talk Jason out of one, because I think he told me it's an ungodly number of Russian Samboas he currently has in his collection because he doesn't like to get rid of them. So
sounds like somebody else I know.
No, I'm glad to get rid of stuff because I need to buy stuff. These boas need to shed and start eating. But yeah, so that was everybody's victory. And if you got any small victories over here in the chat, throw them out there. Anything that's happened in your collection or hobby or you've done lately that you're proud of, let us know. I'd love to throw it out and talk about it. Let's pull up, since we got time, since Dr. Rob, I'm gonna pull up our if I can get to it. Where I got try to do 2 things. I can't talk and do stuff at the same time.
I say I don't know what you're trying to do.
You know what I'm doing. It's our discussion page.
Oh, I don't know how much has been shared. You shared a book.
Well, this one Nathan shared. It was just a puddle in Florida that already had an alligator. They're everywhere. Erica McVeigh asked, who is your favorite herpetology or ecology based author and books? We have a couple answers here. Joe Smith says, I love the addition Chimera books. Some can be hard to track down, but they're always full of great information. Kyle Graff said, anything that I can find, to be honest. I'm not picky as long as I can learn about these snakes. I think he meant love. He put lobe. Yeah, gotta check the spelling on some of this stuff. He lobes them. Darren in the chat says,
that's
small victory
too, I guess.
He started building a vivarium, going take his time and build it correctly. He's going to house either bumblebee dart frogs or allergic blue geckos. Darren, that means you have to buy a new animal, and then you'll have like more than 2 reptile or 2 animals. I don't know if you can handle that. Darren's the one person I know that owns 1 ball python.
My thing, because I don't know about the day geckos, but I know the dart frogs, they do fruit flies.
Yeah, I can't do fruit flies. By the way, someone talked about horn lizards earlier. Here's Jack.
So gross.
Jack shared a video of horn lizards shooting blood out of their eyes because that's their defense mechanism, is to shoot blood out of their eyes into the eyes of whatever's trying to eat
and
them.
like that person doesn't even have gloves on in the video. So like blood just got all over their hand. I'm like, that is not safe. Maybe because I just watched all the bloodborne pathogen videos that were required for school. So I'm like, where are your gloves?
Well, I have to ask Dr. Rob, who's ever had blood squirted on him from a horn frog, not from like bad surgery, because he didn't. That'd be hey, have you ever screwed up and had blood squirt on you? That's correct. It's just always fun. Jack posted a picture of giant salamanders. Chinese giant salamanders are always fun to see. I want to see them in person. I mean, I've seen them in zoos, but I'd love to see them in the wild in person. Here's one just of an angry little blue tongue skink. I love blue tongue skinks. There's one where I shared the link. Again, go check out the link to Cold-Blooded Caffeine. Order you a thing of coffee. Again, not only are you helping us, but all 5% of all proceeds go to conservation, straight to conservation. So go check out Cold-Blooded Caffeine. If you're not a coffee drinker, they got a ton of teas. Hopefully in the future, they'll have a Reptile Gumbo podcast tea. But they had a cool one that I wouldn't mind trying that had mango in it.
Mm-hmm.
I like
that
mango.
Sounds really good.
So I'm not a green tea person, but I'll try mango. Oh, and I posted this video of this hippo. I showed it to you.
Terrifying.
The hippo chases down a boat and then like starts biting the motor.
Yeah.
Screw that. I'm not doing that.
Nope.
Hippos scare the crap out of me. So, let's pull that off of there. Timothy said Philippe de Vaugelay's boa constrictor manuals. Yeah, those are great. For Erica's question. And he said 1 ball python is enough. I want to say 1 ball python's too many, but I own multiple ball pythons.
We talked about one of those coming up to my classroom.
That is true. I can send one up there.
I just need another setup.
You've got a tank, right?
No, that's a feeding tank.
Okay, we can buy you a tub to feed stuff in.
No,
and you can use the tank.
That tank is perfect for the box turtle because I can't stand when there are crickets loose in her cage.
A plastic tub would work also for the box turtle, and then you could use that cage for an animal.
The lid's not a good lid for a snake.
So what you're saying is we need to buy a cage.
We need a cage, or something at home needs to go in that cage that I'm not concerned with escaping from a jacked up lid.
I don't have anything here to go in that cage.
Then we need a new cage.
Oh, good. You can have the ball python. I got a female ball python you can take up there.
They'll love it.
She's ball pythonish.
I mean, that sounds like
I got 3
plan.
babies I need to feed and get rid of. Sell.
Get on that.
I do have a baby. So anybody listening, I do have a baby boa from last year's litter. I know there's some people out there that like
Oh yeah.
What?
I think I know where you're going with this.
that like charity cases. And I've got a boa from last year's litter that he's a little special. So if anybody wants, I say little, he's fine. He just, if you've ever seen the movie Forrest Gump, you know Bubba with the big underbite. That's this snake. He's got an underbite, and so he has to eat smaller meals because if he eats the normal size meal, he ends up pulling hair out of it all over the place, and then it just gets gross. So he's got to feed smaller meals. But if anybody's interested, talk to me. We'll work something out maybe. It's a what is he? He's a jungle something or another. I've got to go back and look at what he is. He's definitely anery because it's from that fucking litter of anery boas. So if you like gray snakes, Katie, you'll love this one because he's gray. But
I can take him to my classroom.
You could.
My only concern is like, what am I going to do when he's big?
I mean, he's going to grow. When you
I
feed him,
know,
they
like
grow.
I can't.
We could put a cage in there.
I can't put a cage for a red tail in my classroom.
4-foot cage. You go in there on the shelf on a counter somewhere.
That's a huge snake to have in my classroom.
Well, then don't offer to take it. Why'd you offer? Why are we having this conversation?
I don't know. I didn't think it through.
I'm going back to my original statement. If somebody wants a special needs boa, it will not be free because I'm not doing free because you say free and then everybody wants it.
And like there will be stipulations that come with getting this as well.
But he's pretty. He's got several genes in him. He's pretty. I don't feel comfortable selling him outside of someone fully understanding what they're getting and wanting a pet. Because unfortunately, some people will see a 2 or 3 gene animal, even if it has issues. And if they can get it cheap, they'll get it and they'll try and breed. And I'm not saying what he has will be passed on, but I want someone who will enjoy him as a pet. So yeah, just reach out to me. I may have another one from this litter that just passed. It's going to need that at some point too, with its goofy ass eyeball. So we'll see what happens with that snake. Anyways, any small animal? You haven't had your animals back in your classroom. All you've had is the guinea pig.
Oh my gosh. And when I tell you my custodian, number one, the fact that we still have the same custodian from last year is amazing because our district moves custodians around more than they move assistant principals around.
And no one gets that because they have no idea.
It's ridiculous, y'all. It's a lot. But anyways, my custodian walked in and as soon as she saw Penelope's cage, she goes, "My friend is back," and like went over to give her love and attention. I was like, this makes my heart so happy.
In the chase, William tells us, "I dream of being able to find a pet only Sanzinia because." Yeah, me too. Me too. I'll take a pet only Sanzinias. I don't think anybody's handing those out.
Oh Lord.
That's for anybody else. That's a Madagascar tree boa. We talked about them before on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got.
So I think tomorrow I can take the corn snake, the crested gecko, the leopard gecko, and the fat tail gecko by myself.
You need help with the.
I need help with the bearded and the box turtle, just because that cage is physically so large.
Yeah, because they're 40-gallon.
And I have someone at school that could help me unload it from my car. But the problem is getting it loaded in the morning.
So you need to take a bunch of the stuff in the morning, get it set up, and then have spaces for those other ones. So that way, when we take them up there, you're ready for.
Oh yeah, the places are ready to go.
Gotcha.
Like all I got to do is plug them in and set them up.
I went to
But I feel like for Meet the Teacher, I need to have all my animals in my classroom.
So I had a workshop in another high school teacher's classroom at another high school, and they had a bunch of animals too. He had a Woma python in there, which I got to hold. It's the first Woma python I've ever seen that didn't want to eat everything that touched it.
You did not tell me you held it.
I did. I held a Woma python.
That's cool.
He had 2 boas in there. He had like 5 cane toads.
That's really cool.
He had a couple of tegus, bearded dragon, gargoyle gecko, crested gecko, Uromastyx, hedgehogs. I feel like I'm missing something else in there.
A guinea pig's better than a hedgehog.
I agree. Guinea pigs are better than hedgehogs.
Also, for some love this morning and then forgot to wash my hands and touch my face and my eye itched for like the last hour because I am allergic to my guinea pig. But I still have her anyway.
Seems like a great pet.
I know.
The Ready said, not sure if it's a victory or a defeat, but we now have Ambanja, Simbava, Nosy Fally, Nosy Bee, ambilobi locales. That's a lot of locales of panther chameleons. For everybody that thought I was speaking a different language, I technically was. Those are all panther chameleons. We have Sambava. That's the one that we've showed on here before that we got from the Reddies. It's the one I'm partial to because I like all the greens. But the Ambonges are cool because the bluish ones is really pretty. I know some of the other ones have speckling. That's all I know. They're all panther chameleons. That's a lot of locales. And then you'll also have, while you're growing up, the giant ones, the Parsons. So those are cool. Anything else going on? You got anything else? I'm wondering what Dr. Rob's doing.
No.
He's got his hand inside of something.
Oh my God.
I guarantee it. Dr. Rob's hand right now is
Oh my
inside of
gosh.
something.
I need to clean cages before I go to bed tonight so everybody's clean when they go to school tomorrow.
Things I'm not doing for 500.
So gross.
I think I have
My students do it all year. I'm spoiled. Like I literally do nothing but supervise.
another small victory. I think one of my Sambos is pregnant. I don't think I'm like 95% sure one of my Sambos is pregnant. She's getting fat and sitting on the heat, but she probably still has like another month or two.
So how old do you reckon my corn snake is? If you had to guess.
We've had that corn snake since
I worked at the zoo.
You worked there when we got it?
Yes.
So that was 2000.
Because she left the zoo with me to go to my classroom.
Yes, it's a Kenyan that's pregnant that I have right now. It's a Kenyan. Yeah, because none of the rest of the stuff wants to have sex.
And this is your 13 for teaching for me.
All right, so 14, it was an adult when we got it.
Yeah.
So that snake's probably 16, 17 years old.
Because I made the comment one day last year. I was like, yeah, she's like 7 years old. And then I was like, wait.
Not even close.
I've had her for as long as I've been teaching. She's at least 13.
She's probably between 17 and 20.
My animals are starting to get old.
I mean, the corn snake in the snake room that we have, we got when we started dating, 2005. So
that was such a long time ago. Oh, how have you put up with me
so
for that
2005
long?
means next year he'll be 20 years old.
I know.
He's already blind. He's both his eyes.
I made a comment.
white.
My assistant principal, because she's new this year, she's like, so what kind of animals do you have? And I didn't tell her this. But she popped up on my Facebook of like people I know. I'm not going to add my assistant principal on Facebook because that's just dumb. But
I'll take that back. I did add my assistant principal on Facebook.
I'm actually friends with your old assistant principal as
I
well.
told her today she's dead to me because they moved my. It's just so like we were talking about earlier. Imagine you have a job and you like your boss, and then every 2 or so years they move your boss somewhere else and you get a new one. You have no idea if you're going to like that boss.
Yeah,
and then you have to live through 2 years of that, and it can be good or bad. That's teaching.
But anyway, so she was like, you have a snake? She was like, I can handle anything but snakes. And I'm like, well, she's a lock on her cage because kids are dumb and I would lose my job if somebody messed with my corn snake. Like I've no doubt I would lose my mind and go crazy on somebody. She's my baby. I've had her for a really long time. But her profile picture on Facebook is her with a giant sulcata tortoise.
Which we got to feed sulcatas at the learning zoo. And it made me realize how much I missed my sulcatas.
I know.
So much. I just can't have them. I don't have the space.
No.
Darren, we can get the Reddies back on sometime. Talk about Mellor's chameleons.
Yeah, absolutely.
See what they know about them. I don't know. The Reddies don't know much about chameleons, really. They're not that special. Katie's not listening, or else she would have told me to be quiet.
They are.
Oh, there we go.
I just...
Amanda
will get you herself. I don't have to worry about it.
I'm just trying to figure out what Dr. Rob's hand or fingers inside.
There's
right
some
now.
cat.
Do we play a game of what Dr. Rob's fingers inside?
What animal is he seeing? Dog or cat?
Oh, I didn't say it was. You went to animal. But...
Stop it. You're so bad.
Timothy said it's been almost 2 years with his Sahara. He's still cis feeding. It's a Samboa. Sold the female and he'd give this one away, but it'd have to go to a special person. Yeah. That's the only problem is like if I do Saharas, I want captive bred that are already eating. I don't want to get, most of your Saharan Samboas are imports. Unfortunately, that's one of those ones at reptile shows that are sold cheap. People see them on table, and a lot of times people get them thinking they're Kenyans, and they're not. They're definitely not. They lay eggs for one. Saharans lay eggs. So, but I don't know what all you've tried with the Timothy. Have you tried lizards, maybe, or tried some sort of bird, maybe small button quail, something non-rodent that might work.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You
And
could
you
also-
can get quail eggs from.
What?
Are you talking about eggs or you're talking about the actual quail?
The actual quail. They're not
I'm
egg
just
eaters.
kidding.
It's a sand boa.
I'm
But a
sure.
button quail, you hatch those things. Those things come out freaking small.
Yeah.
So man, it's like a smaller than a pinky rat.
Yeah.
So you could try button quail. You can also try if you can get feathers like down off of a bird, covering the pinky mouse in, dip it in water and then cover it in down in feathers from a small quail and see if maybe the scent will work. Or try lizard. They also could be lizard eaters. So all things you can try that you may have already tried. If you've had it this long, 2 years, you may have tried all those things. Just sucks that you have to assist feed it. At least it's not force feeding. Amanda says she's making a coloring book with her designs. She's made a design for me. I told her forever ago it'd be I think coloring book would be awesome.
She's given me some stuff actually.
Oh, the light turned back on. And
Does that mean
Dr. Rob's room.
motion?
I thought so.
She's given me stuff like that before.
Timothy, don't feed it off to the Boega. So you thought it was a Kenyan. But yeah, that happens all the time. All the time people will post their Saharans and Kenyan Samboa groups asking about their Kenyan Samboa, and we have to go, yeah, it's not one. And unfortunately that happens. It's people just trying to sell animals. It sucks. But they can be really cool. I think they're gonna be really neat if people can really get them breeding. The problem is they don't have a lot of babies. They have very few eggs. And you gotta deal with eggs. Whereas with the Kenyans, you can get 15, 20 babies out of it and they're ready to go fairly quickly. So it's going to come down to, does someone want to deal with Saharans, which I would. I'd like to get some captives, breed them up, sell them. Hoping I can get my Indian Samboas going soon because we've had them forever now. I'm hoping I get my rough scales going. I'm looking forward to that too. I'm looking forward to a Samboa baby that's not a Kenyan. I can breed Kenyans. Done that. So, yes. Anything else?
I mean, I
do need an Arabian. You're 100% right. But
why don't we have one?
Because only one person in this country has ever had babies, and he's not getting rid of them right now.
Oh, sorry, I can't help you out there.
I know. Arabians are so cool. For anybody that doesn't know what an Arabian Samboa is, we've talked about it on here before. That's the one when everybody thinks Samboa and they look like sock puppets. It's that one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It does. It looks like a sock puppet.
I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, eyes like way up on top of the head, goofy looking face.
Mhm.
They're the other egg laying sand boa. So if you ever get into a conversation with, you'll hear all the time, pythons lay eggs, boas give live birth. Yes and no, because sand boas, 2 species of sand boa lay eggs. So I agree. Rough scales are one of my favorites too. Rough scale sand boas. If you've never seen one, the pattern on a rough scale is awesome. I've got 3 of them and they're all super calm, way calmer than my Kenyans. And I think they're very pretty. I've got some that are like almost gray tones and then some that are very yellowy, and they're an awesome sand boa. I think they're a super underappreciated sand boa, and it surprises me that you don't see them more often. No, you don't need a pied alligator, Amanda. You don't need a pied alligator.
No, notice how she says you and her need a pied alligator.
Only if we're housing it next to a Chinese alligator.
She wants the pied, you want the Chinese.
Your chameleon's over there watching a cricket
I know, but he won't go after it because he's lazy.
Yeah, I fed the chameleon just before he started.
Faulty.
Timothy, yes, Calibars
He's
are
a little special.
technically there are Calabar burrowing boas. I know the python name has been linked to them for so long, but they are in the boa family. And so they are Calabar burrowing boas. And yes, I do believe they also are egg layers, if I remember correctly. I've got 3 of them in the other room, but I obviously have not gotten any eggs out of them. So, but I think they're all eating. They're shedding. Every now and then I open it and I find another shed. So they're shedding, but they won't eat from tongs. So what I do is I have little cups in my Calabar tub that I just put like pinky mice and pinky rats in, frozen thawed. And then I just close the tub and I come back later and they're all gone. So one or more than one are eating. So hopefully if I leave them alone, let them burrow, they've got tons of soil to burrow in, maybe I can get some eggs. That would be really cool. Because I would say Calabar burrowing boa eggs our babies are so pretty. If you haven't seen them, look them up, because a lot of times you see the adult shows and they're cool looking too, but Calabar babies have these bright orange speckling all over their body, and they're awesome. I know, Bill. We did talk about Calabars to them. I'm trying. I gotta get them to want to like each other. So hopefully that will happen. Did I talk about? I don't know if I talked about on here. I did lose a couple of not sandboas, rubber boas.
I don't know that we talked about that in depth.
I have one rubber boa left. I lost a pair, and I think it was due to the hurricane. I think I didn't think about it being too hot inside for them. The rubber boas are much cooler species, and it got hot in the house. Let's say hot. It got into the 80s, which for them is very warm. Mm-hmm. And I think their tub, which is normally was kept pretty wet, they had a fairly wet bedding, but they got too hot and too wet, and yeah, I lost two of them. I have one that is doing great. She is growing wonderfully, but unfortunately, yeah, I had two of them pass, which sucks. It's one of my favorite species. I guess that's one of those things, people talk about not keeping certain species because it doesn't match their room.
Well, and that's one of those things where, like, when you lost power and I was away at camp, neither one of us even thought about it getting too hot,
because 99% of my room is tropical.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just them. It's just them. Because even the Russian sambos, who can drop down into the freezing temperatures, also do well at 90 something degrees.
Right.
When we said rubber boas, calibars, and rough scales are all set. I have all three of those. Sunbeam snakes are cool. I don't know. I'm not a big. I'm honestly gonna show my ignorance on sunbeam snakes. I'm assuming they're a colubrid, or at least they are colubrid-ish to me, versus something like the calibars and all the other boas. And so that part doesn't do much for me. But they are a cool looking snake, and it would be nice to see people do more with them, because that's another one we talk about all the time on here. That you see at shows that get sold cheap, and so many sunbeam snakes unfortunately die because they are a snake that likes to live in dirt and moist mud. I mean, even like when the calibars, so calibars love to live in pretty wet dirt, and you can tell because along with what they eat, because they are nest raiders, their skin is thick. It's much thicker than my other snakes. When my calabar shed and you take out a shed, it's a much thicker skin than, say, like the sambos, or especially like a boa constrictor. We said no, they're a family. They're the xenopeltis. Okay, so they're not a colubrid. That's for the sunbeams. Darren says AC crashed last week and it was 97 in his house. Holy shit, Darren!
That's not okay.
It's 97
friend.
Outside. I'm not.
That's not okay.
Today we were going to lunch, so it's a teacher work day. We don't have kids, and usually on teacher work days we all just go to lunch together. And someone said they were going to lunch, and the place I had to think about it. I'm like, that's an outside place. Like, you have to sit outside to eat. And I was like, fuck that. It is 90 something degrees. I'm not going to eat with you outside.
I was actually cold in our workshop today. Like, had to get up and go find a sweater because I was so cold. So because I keep like sweaters in my classroom.
That was not an issue for us.
And I was like, what is happening? Everybody was like, oh my gosh, is Lewis getting sick? And I'm like, no, I'm not. It's just cold in here.
Yeah, the Mexican burrowing pythons are cool. But they're also just another, brown snake that lives in the dirt. But they are a cool little group of snakes as well. Yeah, the calabar skin's pretty thick. It's one to help cut down on them getting killed by the moms trying to kill them while they eat all the babies. And two, I have a feeling it helps them with being in such wet conditions. Ready's Rainforest. How old is Jim now? Katie, how old is Jim?
2 and a couple months.
2 and a couple months.
He turned 2 on June 12th.
You know your birthday is June 12th.
I did. I'm sorry. I typed 10 to my co-teacher.
So we're
multitasking
he's
tonight.
2. So in chameleon years, he's like, in a human years, it'd be like 90, right? Because chameleons only live.
You made me sad about my guinea pig when you asked me how old she was, and I'm like, she's 4. And then you were like, we're hitting the halfway point. I was like, oh, we are.
I think we're past the halfway point.
They live 5 to 8 years, and she's quite spoiled, so she could very well live close to 8 years.
Hope so.
But yeah, I did not tell my co-teacher that because Penelope spent the whole month of July at her house with her. That was the first thing that she did when she got to school today, was go into my room and get Penelope and give her love, because she held her every single day at her house.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness.
Someone listen to this podcast like, these people are just rambling. We are.
That's what we do.
But we had a show this week, and we have Dr. Rob, and
there
he's
are
off being a
9 of you.
doctor.
There are 9 of you on here live with us right now. So you obviously have nothing better to do.
In the chat right now, what is Dr. Rob's finger inside of?
Oh my God,
when he comes back, we'll ask him what his finger. You think it's inside of nothing? His finger was definitely inside of something.
No.
I'll go dog. Inside of a dog. I'm not gonna say what part of the dog. It could have been in his mouth. Probably his butt. But I'm going dog. But yes, Jim is still alive. The plastic plants have not killed our chameleon as much as the internet said they would. He's staring at a cricket that he could definitely get to if he would just climb up there and get it.
He doesn't want to.
Lazy ass chameleon.
He's very lazy.
I don't know what.
Did you not have enough of a race? Oh, about you talking about what his finger's currently in. That's what she's talking about. She's at the gym listening to us. Look at you being dedicated, girl.
Well,
you do you.
Danielle, tell us, what do you think his finger's in right now?
Oh my gosh. The fact that she responded while she's working out is impressive.
Or
I cannot do both.
Or she's one of those people that go to the gym, get on a machine,
you were gonna say
and just plays on her phone for 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
And never pushes a weight.
I have asked people to get up before. If I'm waiting on a machine and they're like just sitting there on their phone, I'm like, excuse me,
if his finger's inside of a zebra, that would be an awesome win for you. I'm hoping you're right, but I'm going dog.
Dog.
Okay, you going dog or cat?
I'm going cat.
I don't think he can fit his finger inside of a hamster.
I feel like more cat people take their animals to after hours.
I pissed off a bunch of people on the internet about cats, as I normally do. It was a whole thing about them being humanely euthanized. And then everybody's like, you want to kill cats? I'm like, that's not what I said at all. I don't want to murder anything. I'm like, humanely, strays, all outside cats should be treated as strays. All of them, all outside cats. I can't say that when Dr. Rob gets back because he's a cat person.
He is a cat person.
Daniel said she just does not sell the machines. Her mom calls her. I'm not going to say that. Anyways.
Tonight, he's at a private practice. It's a nonprofit.
So it could be dog, cat, could be a zebra,
could be a rabbit.
Oh, look,
that's a good guess.
Amanda's guessing what kind of dog.
She's getting real
lab or Yorkie. All right, so if we're going dog, if you're gonna give me dog, then we gotta go species. I'm gonna go.
I think a Shih Tzu or a Yorkie is probably a good guess because those parents would show up to an after-hours clinic.
Chihuahua,
but I think the key is right. I think it's a cat.
But if it's a Chihuahua, is he getting his finger inside of a Chihuahua? That's a small dog.
I mean, if the dog doesn't bite your finger off first, because they're feisty.
Well, there's no teeth in the butthole, so you're good. A Labradoodle. That's always a good guess too. Those people would go pay extra for an emergency vet. I wonder how.
That's the thing is you've got to find somebody who's willing to pay extra.
Well, I wonder how people bring their. We gotta ask when he comes back. I don't know how busy.
That's a good question to ask our discussion.
What
is? Have you ever taken an animal to an after-hours emergency vet?
We have not.
We have not, but we have not had anything severe enough.
Yeah.
Like if my dog were to get bit by a snake, 100%, we're going. Like there are certain things.
Okay, I've never put my finger inside of a dog's butthole. You are correct. So I don't know firsthand. There's no teeth there, but knowing anatomy, there's no teeth in the butthole.
Oh my gosh.
Just saying. I mean, I know I'm not the vet, and we're waiting on the vet. Everybody's very interested in what.
We're invested now.
Guess where his finger is. But I lost my train of thought. Dog buttholes and all. Speaking of dog fights. So the other day, Katie calls me and tells me to bring a leash to the park in our neighborhood because you pulled up on a kid being attacked by a dog.
So I was going to work in my classroom. It was on Sunday. And as I'm going, I passed the neighborhood park to get out of the neighborhood. And I see this large, unfortunately, it was a pit bull. And it has
blue and white.
It has this. No, it really wasn't.
Not blue.
No, it was like a brindle. Yeah. But it had the kid by the shirt, and I see this other car has stopped, and this guy is standing on the sidewalk yelling. And then there's this other guy like running towards the dog, and this guy has like a flashlight in his hand. Like that's obviously all he had in the truck. So he acted like he was going to hit the dog with a flashlight. He did not hit the dog with a flashlight. But then the dog let go of the kid's shirt and like sat down, like totally. I'm like, oh, I'm being a good dog now. It was so strange. Kid runs up on the playground equipment, like up off the ground. The younger kid that was with that older gentleman with the flashlight, like held the dog. Still, it was not their dog. The guy that was on the sidewalks on the phone with 911. This kid is going into the 6th grade because I was like, there, the mom and me came out. And then the teacher side was like, they need an adult that's here for them.
I just feel bad for that dog. There's a good chance it gets put down.
Well, so the kid had a gigantic bite on the back of its leg. It did break the skin, and his shirt was completely ripped. So he was telling me, though, he said, well, we were, because it was him and his sister who's going into 3rd grade. She was freaking out.
Backstory on the kid, but okay.
Well, to give you ages, like
Gotcha.
she's little. She's 7. And so the kid was like, well, we walked over here from our house and the dog followed us from over here. And I kept yelling at it, telling it to go away. And it wouldn't go away.
We have a lot of stray dogs come through our neighborhood. And then after the storm, there's almost no fence in our neighborhood that is 100% anymore. And so there was a dog the other day that someone posted in our neighborhood group that had a big long leash attached to it. That probably
was just pulling around with it while it was walking.
Probably got tied up in the backyard, and
that's all I can figure.
And there's no fence, so the stray dogs around here have been bad. But yeah, they got the dog and they strapped it to a leash and they strapped it to a tree and they waited for animal control to come out there. Unfortunately, in that situation, there's a good chance that dog gets put down.
Well, and so I took a picture of it and posted it in the neighborhood group on the off chance. I also posted it in like another neighborhood that's close by to us, just in case it is somebody's dog. Because I mean, the paramedics were like, well, we need to know its shot record history. And since it broke the skin, they need to know how to treat the kid.
That kid probably is going to have to go through rabies.
Yeah. So there's just a lot going on. And so it was crazy. It was a crazy Sunday afternoon. And like the craziest part of it all is the dog seemed totally fine once adults were in the picture.
Yeah.
It was weird, but
that's not the first time someone walking their pit bull, that dog got attacked once.
That stray dog came out of nowhere. We were at the park that day.
I had to go pull it off that pit bull.
Yeah.
The pit bull just cowered down and
it was on a leash and everything. Like she was walking it around the lake.
Yeah. So keep your dogs.
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
It must be whatever it is. He's got it way up there. That finger is way inside whatever it is.
No.
Yeah.
It could be a serious issue.
And the serious issue could be inside of its butt. It could be its mouth. Or
maybe it got bit by something.
Or he had to slice it open. Stuff.
I've had to first time
I took a mangrove.
Oh, that's multiple sentences.
There should be. Yeah.
Sorry. Normally I'm better at that.
Well, I always be walking my.
I'll always be walking my.
That's not how I read it. I always.
We always get charged up by other dogs. Yes. Wait. Who ate a rock?
He's saying the thing that Dr. Rob ate a rock. You're hoping somebody else's dog was dumb enough to eat a rock.
So we hang on my sweet Toby.
He's dead.
I love my old man.
He's not old anymore. He
was old when we put him down though. He was almost 16.
Fucking ate a rock. Anyways.
My sweet boy.
Anybody in chat go to reptile shows? Any reptile shows lately? See anything? I haven't been to a reptile show in a while. What was the last reptile show I went to?
Conroe? Sorry.
Jeez.
I think it was Conroe.
I agree, Timothy. We got to get back. The plan was trying to get him yesterday, but he was busy. And then we booked him for today and we were good. And then he took this. And so I was like, well, we'll still try and see. We'll see. Maybe he wasn't going to be busy, but apparently he had to put his finger inside something tonight. And
stop.
What? If he comes back and tells me his finger's inside something, you'll be like, oh no, he was right.
I'm going to roll my eyes because you're going to be miserable to deal with if you were right.
Danielle, how the hell am I supposed to know what that is? Man, I gotta Google shit. I don't like y'all.
I don't know what that is either.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
I mean,
Where's my mouse? My mouse is just clicking on stuff at this point.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
But I have touchscreen and I need to just use that. That's what I'm.
Oh, I don't have touchscreen on this one. My school computer is a touchscreen, but not my personal.
Oh, it's a gecko. Okay. It's a gecko. It looks like a mix between a white line gecko and a crested. I don't know. It's a ruse gecko. It's one of the new. Yeah, okay. So it's a New Caledonian gecko. And it's got the little white lines behind its head. So it's a gecko. Go look it up. It's a soul. Where was I? So sorry. That's the ones I think that why can I not think of South Tex Gex?
Carl?
I think Carl has those.
I was like, where are you going with this, man?
I don't do names. I was like someone the other day we started talking about names. We were talking about
so bad about names.
we were talking about House of Dragons. And they started saying people like characters' names and the dragons' names. Like, stop that. There's no way I'm gonna know those. I watched that show. I don't remember the names. I can go, yeah, so and so's brother, sister, the king, that guy. I'm gonna do good next week to learn my kids' names at school. I'm not gonna learn mystical names.
I've almost completely brain dumped everybody from last year.
Daniel got it from Carl from South Tex Gex. Nice. If you're gonna get a gecko, come on, gotta go with Carl. Especially if you're gonna get a lychee or a Sarasonoma gecko.
Sure.
See, it's what it's called. Sarasonoma gecko. Go through South Tex Gex. Who else is in the chat? Oh, it's only like 3 people chatting. There's 7 of y'all here. Come on.
Maybe they're listening while they clean.
Well, we're trying to kill some time so we can find out what Dr. Rob's finger's inside of. If he doesn't get back, I'm gonna text him later and be like, hey, I'm gonna post on Facebook and be like, hey,
I'm so sorry that I keep yawning.
No, you're not.
I am. It's rude. I don't like it.
Yeah, Sarah's. See, Sarah's is what Carl always calls them. So that's why I didn't know the whole name goes with it. I do have guests for the next 2 weeks lined up, but again, you know how it goes. They could be the day before and they could cancel. So we'll see how that goes next week. Next week we should be on Tuesday. The week after that we should also be on Tuesday. And again, for anybody that's joined, please go buy some coffee or tea from Cold Blooded Caffeine. Again, use the link that we posted on our Facebook group because that link gives us a little bit of kickback and helps us out. I forget who it was in the chat in the Discord, but someone said they used our link to go buy some VivTech bulbs. Thanks for that.
Nice.
And if they're out of bulbs, because I think they might be out of some right now, if they're out, message them and make them tell you when they're going to get bulbs again. Oh, yeah. Check out the Reddies. Get some feeder fuel. Hold on, I got a bag here. Oh. Bam. A bag of feeder fuel. It's what I use for my roaches.
I need to take some of that back up to school.
There's another bag.
Yeah. I brought the bag from school home for the summer.
I know where we can get some if we run out.
Yep.
Check out the Reddies at Reddies Rainforest for feeder fuel. Just plugging away at people. Also, if you go into VivTech and you do buy something from VivTech, use code Gumbo22 and save 15% on your VivTech order. When does school start back up? School starts back up for kids, which is the important one.
Monday/Tuesday. I don't have kids till Tuesday because I don't teach a transition grade.
I'll have some kids on Tuesday. I'll have freshmen. I mean, I'm on Monday. I'll have freshmen. It's about as fun as you think it sounds. I was looking through the tea flavors. I'm going to go through that real quick because I don't know if we really talked about all the tea flavors last week. Somebody hadn't listened yet. Some of the tea flavors over at Cold Blooded Caffeine, because if you're not a coffee drinker, not everybody's a coffee drinker. Some of these teas, I really want to get some of these teas and try them. Some of them are not much. There's a vanilla chai. I'm not really much of a chai kind of person, but it's there if you are. A hibiscus tea. This one sounds good. Tropical Island Refresher. It's got notes of strawberry, fresh lemon, and hibiscus.
That's the one I was thinking about getting.
And then Mango Mist is the one I want to try. It's a black tea, which is if you like iced tea, that's made out of black tea. We talked about that last week. But it's a black tea with mango pieces. And so it's citrusy and mango-y. Mm-hmm. So that sounds like a good one.
That's the one that I was thinking about getting.
There's Formosa Oolong tea, whatever that means, but there is that. William says he loves some chai tea. Hey, I know you can order some and save 10% if you use code Reptile Gumbo. Code Reptile Gumbo. Save 10% on your tea. Then he has Lapsang Souchong butterfly number 1.
Sure,
That is a
okay.
mouthful. It's black tea with strong aroma of campfire. I don't know what that even means.
Strong aroma of campfire.
Your tea's gonna taste like a campfire?
I could go for that actually. That actually sounds.
And there's chamomile. All I know about chamomile is it makes you sleepy.
It relaxes you.
Makes you
Does
sleepy.
not make you sleepy.
It would probably make me sleepy.
Lavender is supposed to make you sleepy. Chamomile is supposed to relax you.
There's Formosa gunpowder green tea. I'm gonna go with it doesn't have gunpowder in it, but strong and captivating with
I was gonna
traditional
say it's
green
probably
tea.
strong though.
So you can try that. And then there is green tea with lemon. I'm not a big green tea person.
Our daughter likes green
Our
tea.
daughter's weird.
Yeah.
And then Keemun Panda, which I'm also going to assume doesn't have panda in it. I'm hoping. It says traditional black tea with depth and complexity. So if you like, sweet tea, unsweet tea, that would be the one to go with because that's going to be your kind of your more basic black tea, which is what we tend to think of when we think of tea here in the U.S. But again, I got to talk more with them and try and get us a Reptile Gumbo tea. Oh, okay. Now we get to find out.
Look at him laughing. Something good happened.
We get to find out the answer to our question.
No. This is the answer to your question.
No, everybody else had answers.
No.
We get to find out.
Sorry, I have been multiple things going on at once. Sorry about that.
So our question was, we get some answers in the chat.
I'm not associated with this.
What did you have your finger inside of?
Let's see.
Oh my
god. No, you wore. No, I wore gloves. No, actually, let's see. Dog mouth.
What kind of dog?
Boxer.
Oh, no one guessed.
No one guessed boxer.
Yeah. So that was in the mouth. The chicken was earlier, but that was earlier today. And I still got a guinea pig waiting and a cat waiting. So
you're not getting a finger inside a guinea pig. That's I've seen guinea pigs. That's not happening.
Yeah, I'll try to avoid that. They don't like that very much.
We had a bunch of guesses. We had dogs and cats, and then we decided to narrow it down to dogs. No one guessed boxer.
Nope.
One person guessed zebra. I was really rooting for zebra, but that was.
Yeah, no, not zebra today.
How often do you have someone bring a dog or cat or any animal to an emergency clinic like that, and then you're like, "This is not an emergency"?
Well, just like 10 minutes ago.
I see how people are so paranoid about like whether it's kids or animals, and they just like they always worry so much. I just imagine you see that a lot because I'm a real, like I say real human emergency rooms get that all the time. They come in and it's like cramps and you're okay, or they just they're stopped up and they have to poop. Like, so I just imagine you get like annoying one, but then you have to do it with a smile and be like, yeah, you're paying for it, so here we go.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but I mean, a lot of it is just you're treating the owner, not the patient. That's the big key. When you're when you're sick yourself and you go to the emergency room, I guess that's one thing. But you love your pet, and sometimes you just need someone to tell you it's okay.
Yeah.
Fluffy sneezes every now and then. It's okay.
I had to go to the emergency room back in March. I think it was March that I went.
We were there forever.
So I ended up herniating a disc in my back that pinched a nerve that caused complete paralysis on the left side of my body from the waist down.
Ouch.
It was terrifying. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I couldn't walk. I was like, this cannot continue. I was getting worse. I made him take me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but
yeah, you were fine.
I was okay as soon as they gave me some really good medications, and I was good before we even went home. That was rough. It was really rough.
How often do you get exotic stuff in the clinic? I guess first off, what do we consider exotic? Should have guinea pigs, but guinea pigs really aren't exotic, are they?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on which clinic I'm at. This particular clinic's not a 24/7, but it does see some exotics during that time period, because some of the vets here will see some basic exotic stuff. Some of the places I'm at, they don't see any exotics at all. one clinic I tend to work at on Fridays. They do see a good amount of exotics. So I'm not 100% exotics on those Fridays, but I do see quite a bit of stuff.
And the one that's not seeing exotics, I'm assuming that's a preference because they just don't have the experience with exotics. That's not what they
Yeah.
work with.
Yeah,
Because I imagine there's a lot of vets out there that will see an exotic, but they definitely don't have the experience, but they're going to take the money
Right.
anyways.
Yeah, I have a whole. I think we've talked about that.
Yeah.
I think last time, yeah, and some of it's just triage stuff, or they'll bring stuff in, look at it, do basic thing, then they'll send them to someone who sees exotics during the day. So that works out pretty well.
What's the most recent weirdest thing you've seen come into a clinic? Not at the zoo, because that's all weird stuff, but
Oh, boy, well, I mean, unfortunately, I've seen some stuff come in that hit by cars, and some stuff that's just, found on the side of the road. You probably hit by a car, maggots coming out of multiple orifices, and holes, and in those cases, we go ahead and let them go to heaven and help them decrease that pain and just no suffering anymore, because some of those are just unfortunate and beyond help. And sometimes it's a good Samaritan brings them in, sometimes it's the animal control services, or
I didn't even think about that. People just bringing in stuff they find hit on the side of the road stuff.
Yeah, so, and there's a lot of that good Samaritan stuff out there, and they need help.
Has anybody brought in an animal where you're like 100% we're not expecting to ever see that walk into a clinic?
You talk about species, or
species?
Oh boy, that's a good one. Boy, I have to think back. It's been a while. I mean, I work at a zoo, so I mean, there's not. I mean, you don't. I mean, to me, anything's fair game for the most part.
I just think about people keeping things that they legally can't keep, and then something happens, and they have to see a doctor and bring in something like. Gotta be a tricky situation.
I mean, I do see those, and there's some of those legal gray zones. I won't turn them in. Obviously, if it's harm to a person, harm to whatever, that's a different story. But for the most part, I give them the talk. It's like, okay, technically, you have this animal, and it's a legal issue, and here's the spiel, and no, I'm not going to turn you in, but I'm going to write down that I told you.
You've got to have a record.
So I will write down and let them know that, it's not just animals. We've seen a lot of spider monkeys this year.
Yikes.
And I mean, there's been reports and news all over this, Texas for sure, and southern United States, and even outside of on either shoulder, people have been seeing them too, because they're just being smuggled by.
And it's such a horrible pet.
That's crazy.
Like I've worked with spider monkeys, and nothing in my brain says this would be a good pet. Like as a baby,
and they're babies. They're young. They're taking them off the mom. Stories of that. They're killing mom. They're ripping them off. They're shoving them into backpacks, and they're just coming across the border.
And as babies to people, they seem like great pets, but that's because they haven't seen a full-grown male.
Yep. So all that stuff's been coming in for the last year and a half. It's been a big thing coming across. So give another 2 to 3 years, and it's going to be a nightmare when they all grow up.
Yeah, once those hormones hit those things, and they're insanely strong. I've had to try and catch them with a net, and they can just use their tail to lift a net off of them. Like there's enough strength in their tail just to be like, no, I'm good.
No.
Oh yeah, I mean they can bitch slap you with that tail. I mean it's an extra limb and hand, and they can grab onto you and tell you no. It's crazy.
I don't give you. I imagine you see people bring in things like because when I think things that people aren't supposed to have, and I always hear that possums, raccoons, deer, people, the native quadrupeds that you're not allowed to legally own, and then people are like, I have one. I'm like, no, you shouldn't though.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah,
because that's another one. I've been around raccoons when males hit maturity, and they're horrifying.
Oh yeah, they can be.
We the zoo I worked at, we had 2 males, and they were young when I started, but then they both hit maturity at the same time, and we had to go ahead and fix them. And once they were fixed, they were better. But man, they having a raccoon growl at you is a horrifying thing.
Yeah, especially get a big male. Yeah, that's
Yes.
scary.
Timothy said female lemurs are nuts. Lemurs in general, they're just
Yeah, you can. I've seen some lemurs. They can do some damage.
also wants to know what this may be a harder one. How much of a mental toll does the job take on you, especially seeing like extreme cases or just I guess anything? It's got to be rough.
I mean,
even put a dog down, like that's got to be.
I mean, that's something that at least our parent association has been definitely managing for the last 10 years or so. Because I don't know what the current survey is, but one of the last major surveys is that veterinarians are dentists used to be the poster children for suicides in the
Yeah.
medical profession. Veterinarians have surpassed that. And I mean, they're looking at different populations, male versus female, small animal versus large. I mean, they looked at all the different demographics, and they're scary numbers.
mean, it's like-
COVID didn't help, and because then everything got put behind a wall, and I mean, I feel bad for clients because they had to drop their animals off. They couldn't see their animals being worked on.
That's rough.
Communication issues arose. I got involved with some of that, and it's just people didn't understand, and of course, everybody, the market exploded because everybody bought pets, so the market went through the roof with everybody buying 2,000 ball pythons each. And everybody decided to get 6 dogs and 20 cats, and then they were like, oh, let's go see the vet. Well, the vet's booked out for the next 3 weeks, and
Yeah.
they're screaming and ranting and raving. So then half our staff all left, and people went on to new careers just like every other field, and we didn't have replacements, and we're short staffed and overbooked, and took a toll. And there's a lot of vets that we lost a lot.
Man. Yeah, I mean, we had to have because we had a snake surgery during COVID, and that was drop it off and then drive around because couldn't go anywhere.
Well, we thought we were going to get to take her home that like within a few hours, and it turned into an all-day thing, and they just decided like literally right before they closed that they would let us take her home that day because it was a 3-hour drive from where we lived on top of that. So,
and I didn't even think about, I just thought about when you mentioned we were talking, people bringing their dog and then the vet having, the dog going to be put down. Those people weren't allowed. I mean, I guess they weren't allowed to come in and see the dog. I mean, they couldn't come into the clinic, right? How does that kind of stuff work?
I know it's tough. So euthanasias that's even another one because of all the COVID rules and everything and different policies, and it was tough because sometimes they couldn't say goodbye or we had to make changes, and there's times I did euthanasias in the person's car.
Jeez.
Because they wouldn't want to come in, and where I was at, they didn't let people come in, and there's a lot of at-home euthanasias that services that people just veterans providing that does play a role for some people, and it was pretty rough. I mean, that was a rough year.
Yeah,
because you don't think about how hard it is. So we in the last 5 years we had to put 2 dogs down. 6 years, it was more than that.
We've had Millie for 4, and Toby was 2 years before that. So yeah, 5 to 6 years.
We had to put 2 dogs down. One was mine. One was our family dog.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was rough. I mean, like when we had to put my dog down, I couldn't be in there. I left.
Oh, Rosie?
Yeah.
That was like 10 years ago, baby.
That was like
I stayed with her, but yeah, that was hard.
Like the other dog I had when I got in high school, and then I had to.
Yeah, like he had her for 14 years.
And so I couldn't even be in. You stayed in there.
I stayed with her.
But I just can't imagine as a vet, you're having to see this on a regular basis. You're not only seeing that, you're seeing parents and their kids, and these having to explain to these.
Yeah.
Well, and like he said earlier, you're not dealing with the animal as much as you're dealing with their owners.
Yeah, and it's rough. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there's times that you're crying with the parents, the owners. I mean, it's hard. especially if it's one that's like finances. You can treat the animal, but they can't afford it. And
Yeah.
I mean, you can only do so much, and people just don't understand that. They think we're making big bucks. We're not making big bucks, trust me. I mean, we may be charging $500, but the human hospital for the same procedure is charging 50 grand,
Yeah.
and they're billing it to your insurance. We don't have that luxury. And you look at the overhead. I mean, we have a huge overhead, because of, competition. We're having to raise salaries. We're having to find people just to fill in roles. I mean, it's a little bit better now, but 2 years ago, I mean, every clinic was looking for staff. So
Yeah.
if you're in a market where you're in a shopper's market or buyer's market, I mean, you could pick your salary, and
Wow.
we're not talking good salaries. I mean, we're
Yeah.
still talking, human nurses still make 2 to 3 times what vet techs make, or more even.
Oh yeah.
There's nurses making more than I make. Um, so I mean, there's good professions out there. Just fortunately, the veterinary side of it, it's just not as high
Well,
paying, but we do it because we love it,
well,
and
that's
that's
why I
the
think
big
it's
key.
important. It's important to have a vet you trust. So like when we had to put my dog down,
Mhm.
she was old, but like her back legs, she quit using her back legs. Like, and you could tell muscle
Mhm.
mass had gone in the front. But like the vet explained to me that yes, they could have done surgery. They could have, but she was
Mhm.
15 years old, and the fact is that she probably would not have done well after the surgery. But I trusted my vet enough to go, yeah, okay, whatever you say is what I'm going to go with. Which I know
Yeah.
is probably you get all over the spectrum with that. There's
Yeah,
definitely
it's
folks who
hard.
that
Yeah.
will not trust that and will argue that, and then you're like, okay, well, we can do it because you want it, but it's not what you should do. But I trust my vet.
Yeah.
When we had to put down our other dog, I trusted the vet. Go, look, yeah, there's nothing we can do for him.
Yeah, and I mean, I tell people all the time, find a vet you trust, and that's the big key. I mean, I have people that trust me, that love what I do and how I manage them and their patients. I have people that don't like me either, and that's okay. Back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and they used to bother me, but now it's like, you know what? It's okay if you don't like my particular style of medicine, because
Yeah,
we do it all the time. If you don't like your car mechanic, you go somewhere else. If you don't like
yeah,
your human
Yep.
doctor, you find a
You
new
find
physician.
another one. Yeah.
And you know what? That's okay, because my personality is my personality, and how I manage cases, I manage cases. I
well,
like to
it's rough
think I do a
because
pretty good job. So, I like to think I do a good job. Um, but that's how it works. And if you're good with clients, and you do good quality medicine, you'll have following. You'll have people come see you.
Timothy in the chat asked, I know the answer to this, but I'll go ahead and ask it. Want to know if you owned your own practice or clinic and the pros and cons, but
Not yet. We'll talk later, but not currently.
yeah, I imagine that's got to be a scary thing, opening up your own practice. Because
Yep.
that's one thing I'll tell you. Moving here, so I know it's not vets, but dentist. Oh my god, the amount of dentists.
We just talked about this at a workshop the other day.
Every shopping center that opens up around this area has two things: a dentist, and I'm thinking it's connected, a donut shop.
In a CBD place.
That's some
Yeah.
of them, but there is
And a smoke
always
shop.
Uh-huh.
there is always a dentist. I'm like, how are this many dentists out there? Like, it's just an insane amount of dentists. But I don't know. It just always shocks me because they just opened up another shopping center right in front of our HEB. First thing they put in there, dentist. But so let's get away from the negative stuff. So our question this week, and we can aim it at you. Our question that we posted was, what was your most recent victory or good thing that happened in your collection or hobby? Well, let's go with you. What is the most recent victory or good thing that happened, whether it's at the zoo or at a clinic, something that positive?
Oh boy. Boy, yeah. Actually, I didn't think about that question, so that's a good one. I've had a lot of successes. I definitely can say, I've had a lot of good case stuff that I've done. I've had a couple of bearded dragon surgeries that I've done. Ended up doing a kind of a spay procedure on a dwarf caiman not too long ago.
Oh, that's cool.
She's so far doing okay. Last week I ended up, of course, it's on the private side, but bearded dragon's been having these aneurysm issues where their vessels rupture.
Oh,
and they get these
yikes.
huge blood clots or these
Mm.
active bleeding issues. Because in their body cavity, they don't live, unfortunately, but we're seeing them in their neck or in the back of the head. One of my colleagues presented a paper about this time last year about where he took and actually stuck a needle in the temporal mandibular artery, which is back in the back of the skull, where it comes out, and he just injected that opening and just basically plugged the artery.
Jeez.
It's not been published, it's not been presented. He had 2 cases. I just saw my second case yesterday that I've treated. I'm going to see him probably this Friday for a recheck.
Is this thought to
And
be
I
a
know,
genetic issue, or is it?
I think it's part of it is, I still see the metabolic bone disease dragons,
Yeah.
but I think in some ways, killing with kindness is getting to be more the norm. Um, giving calcium and vitamin D and good UV light, because we have good UV light now.
Yeah.
We don't have the crappy, UVB 310s or the Vitalites that we had, back in the 90s. We actually have really good UV lights. Yes, there's Erica at VipTech, and I'll give her a shout. But
And out there, use code Gumbo22, say 15% at VivTech.
I've known Erica for a long time,
I
so I can
love
say that.
them.
So from that standpoint, I think it's just the husbandry has gotten to a point where we're kind of giving a little excess. So I think a lot of that is just the mineralization of the vessels, too much
Gotcha.
calcium over time, and we're seeing these issues. I mean, this is theoretical. I mean, we don't have hard science because hard science takes money, and who's gonna we get money, but it's small amounts, for
Fair
certain
point.
things here and there. But have 100 bearded dragons as babies grow up with different diets and different husbandry situations and follow their whole history over 10 years and track. That's a cool project. But it's who's going to throw tens of thousands of dollars in doing that kind of project, unfortunately. For research, it'd be awesome. I would
Yeah.
love for someone to do something like that. But
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky thing because when someone buys a bearded and we tell them the right thing is they have to have calcium, for so long in the hobby, we've worried about them not having enough, and we've seen it over and over and over again. You don't think about the fact that now every meal someone's like dousing it with calcium and then any other. I need vitamins and I need everything that's good for them, and then you're like,
yep,
man, that's
same thing
over.
with
That's more than nature. That's
Yep, same thing with chameleons, same thing with some other species. Yep, we're seeing the opposite effect in some
well, it's kind of like
cases.
with dogs. People don't see it, or cats. They don't realize it, but so many people have fat dogs and cats.
Mhm.
And we don't think of that as cruel. Like it's not. It's definitely not to me the same kind of cruelty as starving a dog, right? It's not the same cruelty, but it is not good for the animal, just like it's not good for us. But everybody sees a
Yeah.
roly dog and they're like, "Oh, it's cute." And I'm like, "Yeah, but that thing weighs like 20 pounds more than it should be
Right?
carrying." And so
Yeah.
it's the same thing with the reptiles. I mean, you definitely will see. I've seen some fat reptiles.
Yep, pretty much. And that's the other thing is that we're getting too many calories. So you go with that, then they get kidney disease, and sometimes when they get kidney disease, they'll turn around and retain calcium, and then the calcium go in their tissues or their vessels, and
Mm.
it's just a circle that keeps going around of different things. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
To help with that. So and try to so we can navigate those. So like the embolization, the first one I did was back in January, and I just saw him for his 6-month recheck, and doing great. And we ultrasounded him, and you could see the vessel just shooting blood back in his muscle in the
Jeez.
back of his head. And his head was all huge and swollen. And I injected the opening, and it worked.
That's so
And
crazy.
she's ecstatic. She's absolutely ecstatic, and she's like, I told her about, I've not done this before. my colleague presented this paper and it looks to be straightforward. I mean, I feel confident we can do it. So, I did an ultrasound and I was able to find everything. And she's like, let's do it. So we did it. And she can't thank me enough. And it's just awesome to have that type of client in there.
Oh yeah.
Come in
and willing to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And the second one was, like I said, just last week I did it. And we'll see. I'll know more hopefully on Friday when they'll come back in for a recheck.
So that's gotta be something.
Well.
That's gotta be something you've noticed in the last 30 years of just seeing in the private practice side, the increase in people bringing exotics like reptiles to a vet.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, more people are obviously owning them now, but also seeing people that care enough to bring a bearded dragon, something that a lot of people would see as, well, it's too expensive to take this. I'm not gonna take that. If it dies, it dies. I'll just get another one. So I'm imagining you've seen an increase in more people bringing these things, non-dog cat animals.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm a specialist in reptile medicine. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
I mean, that we could actually have that and actually have the cases, and we actually have the literature, the journals, the conferences to be able to say we could do this now. So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, the fish medicine group their specialty just started, so you can be board certified specialist. Yep, and it's awesome.
It's got to be tricky though, because a lot of these animals don't show signs that they're sick until you're seeing them at the very almost too late in some cases.
Yeah, that's tough.
So I imagine it's easier sometimes to catch. Oh, my dog doesn't feel good. It threw up. I got it. We're good. I go to the vet But someone's snake or bearded dragon, they may not be seeing it until the very last second. So it's got to be a little tougher for those versus like a dog or cat.
Yep. So a sick animal in the wild is dead. It's food for somebody else. So they have to hide it.
I just can't imagine fish medicine.
Hey, fish medicine, it's actually kind of fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, you can't bring a sick fish to the. I mean, you could bring a sick fish.
You can. I've done surgery on fish.
Really?
What?
Yeah, I've done surgery on fish. Yep.
Okay, you got to explain this one.
No, well, what you do is, they breathe oxygen, right? It's just in the water.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do for animals? You put the gas in the air and oxygen, and they breathe it. So you just put the anesthetic in the water.
So what was the procedure for?
Oh, I've done a couple different. I've done several over the years, but little tumor removals to just diagnostics for treating wounds. I've done electric eel once that swallowed a bunch of rocks. Wow. Sedated him. Of course, you can use for some of the aquatic frogs. Even you can use the same type of anesthetic that's in the water. Oh, there's a guinea pig over there. So you put it in the water, and the gills absorb the chemical that's in the water. It's MS-222 is the name of the chemical that we use, and then you put them in a concentrated version of that. Then once they're asleep, you put them in a medium concentration of that chemical, and they stay asleep for as long as you need to. And you can take a little power head pump, put a little tube, put the tube in their mouth, and it just flows over the gills. It just goes in their mouth and out the sides. It flows over the gills. And when you want them to wake up, you put them back in water that does not have the chemical in there. Then it's the same thing, reverse process. The gills get rid of all the chemical, and they wake back up.
That's crazy. You don't think about it because and it's one of those things that, like with fish, and I guess with several animals, we tend to think things are way more sensitive than they are. Some things are way tougher. And can survive through, like, you would think. Most people think if you take a fish and you knock it out for surgery, it's probably going to die, just because everybody thinks my fish died in a fish tank. It can't be that tough. But
yeah, they can be pretty tough, believe it or not. You just got to have someone that knows what they're doing and watch, and have a technician that's monitoring and everything. So it'll all be done.
That's cool. I would not imagine surgery. Look, Katie. Electric eel ate rocks just like your dog.
I was waiting. I was waiting on you to say something.
All right. Well, I have to get to my next patient. So
go ahead.
That's fine. Thank you so much.
So I tell everyone bye. So sorry for the in and out and charades. So I was going to start charades. I wish I was better at doing sign language. We could have a whole nother conversation.
Oh my goodness.
But
Well-
I'll have to brush on that for next time.
Hopefully tonight is not too crazy for you there, and hopefully everything goes smoothly.
Sounds good. Well, you guys have a good evening, and all you guys out there have a good one, and keep an eye on your animals. Take care of them.
That's
Yes.
right.
Thanks for coming on, Doc.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
Doc.
All right. Fish surgery. The lady said they took their koi to the vet before.
I mean, some fish are crazy expensive animals. So
Yeah. Just
crazy stuff.
you don't think about it. I mean,
Mm-mm.
but I mean, it's an animal. They're a vet. Anyways. So let's wrap this up. I got a bunch of Olympics to go watch because I've been watching all the Olympics.
Actually, you have to print some stuff for me before you
I
can
gotta
go
print
do
some
that.
stuff and then watch Olympics.
Yep.
And I need to cut some things. And anyways, get ready for school.
I know.
Yay. So excited. Next week we'll be back next Tuesday. I got to guess next Tuesday. And then I think I got one for the Tuesday after that. Don't forget, check out Herb's Reptile Shows. Go to a Herb's Reptile Show. Get you some cool animals. Go to Lil's Shop of Horrors for all your feeder needs. If you need feeder fuel for your roaches, check out Reddy's Rainforest. See, there you go, a little plug there. What? Oh yeah, no, koi in Japan are fucking expensive. Yeah, koi and some of those koi are fucking expensive in Japan.
Oh my god,
it's a crazy business. Yeah, cold-blooded caffeine. We're helping them. They're helping us. Go over there. Use the link on our Facebook page. Click
Yes.
that because that tells them, hey, you're one of our listeners, and they'll get a kickback. And go buy some coffee or tea. Try it out. If you get one and try it out, let us know which one you got, and then how good.
Yeah,
If you liked it,
absolutely.
if you didn't like it, well, what you did,
what
didn't
you
like.
would change?
Yeah, let us know. If you get some of the teas, let us know. Again, we're hoping in the near future for a Reptile Gumbo podcast tea. For the tea drinkers out there, you can make sweet tea, unsweet tea. But you can make tea. So go check out Cold Blood Caffeine and use code Reptile Gumbo, all one word, to save 10% on your order. And 5% of all proceeds at Cold Blood Caffeine goes to conservation. So you get a product you were already going to buy somewhere, and you get to help conservation efforts. So go do that. Check them out. Again, VivTech. Check out VivTech products. Use code Gumbo22 to save 15% on your VivTech products. If they're out of stock, go bother Erica McVeigh until she gets things back in stock, and she'll get them for you. Check out our Patreon. Again, if you're not a Patreon member, that's cool. I'm not upset. But if you don't mind, go check out our Patreon. You can do like $3 a month. You know, half a cup of coffee. Get Katie off my ass about stuff costing money. Go check out our Patreon. We release our podcast. This podcast will get released early on Patreon, so you can listen to it early. If you're someone who doesn't get to catch them live, it'll be on Patreon earlier. And I've got to start. I'm gonna start trying to do some small interviews to throw on there as well. I just got to get some things lined up and get things to slow down for us. But thanks for listening. Come back next Tuesday. We'll have another interview then. Katie, got anything to add?
No, I don't think so.
My baby boas will have shed hopefully by next Tuesday. So I'll probably have some pictures posted of babies.
You said you have someone for next Tuesday, right?
I do.
Just a heads up. Have some grace because that is the first day of school for me. And I got some doozies in my classes.
Yeah, that's my first day of freshman.
They specifically gave me some children because I think I can get them under control.
You have fun with that. Cattle prods fix that problem.
I'm not okay.
So we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening, and good night, guys.
Bye.